I started packing my entire life into boxes before I even told my friends and family I was leaving the country. I just felt like I couldn't deal with people's emotions while trying to change my life. It was a bit exhausting. And whilst I completely understand that people will miss me, want me to stay, just because of the person that I am, I find it difficult to handle certain emotions when I've caused them. So I just thought if I tell them nearer to the day I'm leaving, it wouldn't affect my mood and my excitement for going away. I don't know if it's controversial or some people might see it as wrong to do that, but that's just the way I had to handle it before leaving. And obviously there's nothing that anyone could say to stop me from going. It's just dealing with those emotions when I'm trying to feel excited about my new adventures. And I don't know if anyone has experienced that before, but carrying that mental load from people who love you when you're doing something new, it's a lot, especially for somebody with my type of character. If you ever felt stuck in the UK and you have that deep ache to go, then this video is for you because this is how I ended up living in Kenya. So I wouldn't say it's a sudden impulse, even though I am quite impulsive. My journey or love for traveling started when I was pretty young, but mainly when I started traveling from 2011. I've traveled before that when I was younger with family. But traveling to Ghana for the first time in 2011 really changed my life because I fell in love with Ghana and I lived there. I remember when I went there in 2011, I was having an amazing time. I'd saved up some money from work and had quite a lot of savings. And I thought, let me just go to Ghana for a bit and see what happens. That's the impulsive and adventurous side of me that came out. Fell in love with Ghana. I stayed there for 6 months. I was meant to stay for 2 or 3 months and I ended up staying there for 6. Then I returned to the UK and packed and shipped everything. And within a year, I was back in Ghana again. And I spent like about 6 years on and off in Ghana, going back and forth. In that time, I did return to the UK because sometimes like money might run out or you want to see your family and friends. And it's like sometimes you go back to home. You go back home to reset and then you come back to a country and you start all over again. And that's what I've been doing since 2011, pretty much. But every time I'm in the UK, I have this ache that I need to get out. I just have a sense of like, I'm not being fulfilled, I'm not living my best life. And that's how I feel in the UK, and that's why I keep leaving the UK and coming out. I don't see myself living in the UK again, but I'm one person who goes by the motto, never say never, because you never know what can happen in the future. But I hope that I wouldn't have to live there again. I think when I told my family I was leaving, I don't think they understood that I meant for good. And I hope they get that now, because I'm not coming back to the UK to live. It's so hard when the family and friends tell you, oh, when you come back to the UK, we can do this. I'm like, when you say come back, what do you mean? I'm coming to visit, but I'm not coming to live there. So family and friends, if you're listening to this and you didn't know, I'm sorry, but I'm not coming back to the UK to live. Okay. So let me start from how I ended up in Kenya. It's a decision based on impulse yet again. So I was in the UK for about 2 years All right, I'll be very honest, okay? I went to Rwanda for the first time in 2020, year of COVID. I think Rwanda was one of the only countries accepting international travelers in Africa where you could come to Rwanda during COVID times. A lot of countries had closed their borders. And I had planned to go to Ghana with my cousins. First, we meant to go to Tanzania because my cousin had like a job offer there. Then we were meant to go to Ghana, but then Ghana shut their borders. And then I was like, I just literally went online. I wanted to be in Africa. I went online and I was searching which African countries are letting people come during COVID. And Rwanda was one of the few that came up on the list. I was like, let's go to Rwanda. So I did a little bit of research on Rwanda and I heard all good things about the country being clean, about the weather being amazing, about people being welcoming. It's peaceful, it's affordable. So I was like, Rwanda it is. And it didn't disappoint. So I went to Rwanda with a friend and had an amazing time. I think I stayed there for 6 weeks. And when Ghana's borders opened, I went to Ghana again and spent quite some time there, on and off for about 3 years, I think. Yes. So then in 2023, I met my then, we're not together anymore, but I met my then fiance, and we decided to go to Rwanda together on a holiday. Fell in love with the country, and I think about between 3 and 6 weeks later, we decided, like a month later, we're going to come and live in Rwanda. So we went and lived in Rwanda together, and it was pretty amazing. I liked living there. There was so much about Rwanda that I completely love, but then we broke up. So I had to leave Rwanda and I came back to live in the UK, and that was in 2024. Then I took a trip to Jamaica. I was only there for about a week, and I was living life, and I'm like, I need to get out of the UK. So for me, I was stuck in the UK for 2 years, from 2024 to mind you, I did go to Thailand in 2024. I went to Thailand in around September, and I spent 52 days in Thailand, and that was in 2024. And then I did do a Spain trip. Okay, I did do a trip to Lanzarote in 25. But that's not enough for me. For my 40th birthday, I thought, let me do a trip and go abroad. It was my 41st birthday. Anyway, so then I was like, all that time, I was like, I need to leave the UK. I need to leave the UK. I want to be out of the UK. So I didn't know where I was going to go. But then an aunt of mine decided to visit Zambia, fell in love, lived there. So my mom's side of the family, we're very much like this. We go to a country, we fall in love, we stay. That's just how it works. Or we just enjoy traveling. And I think for the most part, we really enjoy being on the African continent. For me, I love Africa and Asia. Anyway, so fast forward to January 2026. I had decided long before I told anyone that I'm leaving the country. But I just didn't know how to say it, when to say it. I was worried about the emotions, how things might come across. Anyway, so quite a few of my aunties and cousins decided to visit Zambia in January. So I'm here packing my stuff, knowing that I'm not coming back to the UK. Left some stuff in the UK because I haven't figured out where my home is going to be. So my plan was to travel across different countries over the next 2 years, 2026, 2027, and find my home base. Find the country that I'm going to want to settle in, bring all my stuff to, still travel, but just have a base. I don't want my base to be the UK. So we went to Zambia. My cousin and I traveled to Zambia together. I had a cousin out there, an auntie out there, and then other aunties joined the day before, came the day before, or the day after. I don't remember what day they came, but we were all there together having an amazing time. And Zambia was so relaxing. The people were so calm and friendly. I would say, apart from Thailand, in my experience of being in Zambia for about, I was there for 2 months, I would say that the women were just so lovely. I don't know what it is with us women, but I'm not included in this, but women can be very unfriendly. They're always in competition with each other. I found I didn't have to deal with that in Thailand, and I didn't have to deal with that in Zambia. Like, every woman I met was very friendly and kind and lovely. So that's something that I really, really love about Zambia. But, so anyway, I was getting the itch again to travel. I wanted to be somewhere else. I think another part of it is because Zambia was becoming it was a bit pricey for accommodation. So to get a decent Airbnb, I was spending quite a bit. And I didn't really want to get an unfurnished place. You can get an unfurnished place for like £200, £300, a really nice apartment, and then just fit it up with furniture yourself. But I wasn't ready to do that because I'm not sure I wanted to settle in Zambia. And I just know what it's like to travel and have to think about selling your stuff or where to store your stuff. I didn't want to go through that. So I decided not to do that. I stayed in a few places in Zambia where I could get Airbnbs that were kind of affordable, but still over my budget. And then I was like, I want to go to Kenya. So literally I made that decision within a week. The day came and I booked my ticket. I think I did my visa for Kenya a couple of days before, and then I booked my ticket. I booked a one-way, but I also did if you go to certain websites, I think KLM do it and Qatar, there are other ones as well. Certain airlines let you book a ticket and they will hold it for you for 48 or 72 hours. And I did that for immigration and to apply for my visa. Because I often don't get return tickets just because I never know when I'm going to return. So I either get a very cheap onward ticket or I do this, or I use onwardticket.com where you can get a ticket, they can hold it for 48 hours. Anyway, because I never know what I'm going to do, I decided just to get a one-way. And I had planned to come to Kenya for maybe a month and then go to another country every 6 weeks. I like slow travel because that way you get to really understand the culture, you get to really integrate better and understand and know the country a bit more. I feel like when you just do a 2-week holiday, that's not my thing. Sometimes I like to go on a 2-week holiday and just, am I rambling? Sometimes I like to go on a 2-week holiday and just enjoy it and just do the hotel thing, just really, really have a soft life. But most times when it comes to traveling, I like slow travel, which basically means staying in a country for a longer time and really integrating with the people, the culture, the food, way of life, and all of that. So I come to Nairobi and I booked a hotel for the first 2 nights, loved it. The people were so welcoming and from my experience that first day. And then I stayed in this beautiful apartment for a month. And then I thought, oh no, I'm not ready to leave just yet because there's so much I want to do. I decided, let me just stay for a little bit and build my business. But there was just so much to do in Kenya and I wasn't ready to go yet. I still haven't left Nairobi yet, and that's something I need to do before I even leave the country. Anyway, about 2 weeks ago, no, not even 2 weeks ago, I decided, let me just stay in Kenya and build my business before going to another country again. Actually, let me stay in Kenya, bring all my stuff to Kenya, make this my base, and travel to and from different countries from here. Because as much as I love traveling and being on the road, it can be exhausting picking up your things and moving to another place, taking those things, moving to another place. I have belongings in England, in Ghana, and Zambia, now in Kenya. I can't have my stuff all over the world, so I just want to bring everything to one place, have a base, have a home, and then I can still figure things out later. I think sometimes to build a business, you need stability. So at the moment I'm working on my Airbnb business, I'm trying to enjoy Nairobi more, save some more money before I think about going to the next country. However, I do want to go to Zambia for my birthday in June and I want to see my family. So let's see what happens. I have to say that being in Nairobi is quite similar to the way I felt when I visited Ghana for the first time. That in love feeling. The only thing I'd say that it took me longer to decide that Nairobi would be my base. In Ghana, I was within a couple of weeks, I wanted to stay in Ghana. I've been in Nairobi for about 2 months now. I came in March. Yeah, it's just been over 2 months. I do have my visa for another month, and then I'm going to extend for another 3 months. And then I'm going to figure out the legal way to stay here. I don't plan to do anything crazy against the law. I plan to do it correctly. So that's how I ended up staying in Kenya. I found it affordable. This is what I love about Kenya, okay? It's affordable. Accommodation is much more affordable than other countries I've been to. I feel like it's a very easy place to integrate and navigate. Even though I still get to experience African culture, I still get to have some of my home comforts. It's a perfect blend of the two. And it's just so easy to blend in here. I haven't made many friends yet, and I will. I went to a networking event recently. But the fact that I can be here and be comfortable and not feel lonely, and I had no friends yet, that says a lot. What else I do love about Nairobi is the weather. You have some beautiful sunny days, you have rainy days, but the weather is never crazily hot or like crazily too cold. And I do like that. It's just so easy to adjust here. And I can't really put it into words. I just feel comfortable here. I feel at home here. And many people might not agree with me. I know that there are issues with government and politics and things like that. And I think maybe when you are not living in a country and you're not really part of the system, maybe you don't feel those things so much. But I just feel really happy here. So that's where I'm going to be for now. So my plan is to build, rest, and explore. That's my plan. I still want to go and visit other countries, but I just want to have a base, a place that can just have all my belongings, a place to call home whilst I explore the rest of the world. So, if you are sitting in a room right now packing a bag in your mind, let me just say that you are allowed to explore other places. Don't let anyone's fears become yours. Don't take them on. People are allowed to have their opinions, they're allowed to comment, they're allowed to feel what they feel and have emotions. And sometimes the outside noise of others can affect your own decisions. Don't let that happen. Try to make decisions for you. That's something I'm teaching myself every single day. Being an empath means that I take on everyone's noise, take on everyone's emotions, and sometimes it can cloud my own decisions. And I have to remember, Janine, you are a 41 going on 42-year-old adult. You can make decisions for you. Your dad can't tell you anything. Your sisters can't tell you. Your cousins, your friends. Like, decisions that you have to make are for you. You can't live your life for anyone else but you. I'm just going to say you are allowed to choose your own peace, even if it confuses the ones you love. Bye.